Alright, what's going on, guys? It's your guy, Noober Schnoober, and today I have something special for you. Bro, what you might be asking, what's this thing right here? And, to that I say that is a clock. And I'm gonna be showing y'all how this works in a second or something, but first, we're gonna have to discuss how I did this in the first place, and why, whenever I click this, this also doesn't change to the exact same thing as where it's pointing right here. Alright, very easy to answer. There's two different types of scripts that you're going to want to be using whenever you're coding. One is going to be a local script, and the other is going to be just what it's called a script, or I just call it a server script. Alright, the one that I handled in this one was a local script, aka it only affects me. If something only affects you, aka like the player, it's going to be handled in a local script. So like this little thing right here, whenever I hover over on it, it only affects me. However, when I type in here like my balls, wait a second, boom, are massively huge, you could just type that right there. That right here is going to be handled by the server because it appears for everybody. And one of the most dead giveaways that something is handled in a local script is a button. And that's because there's two differences between a person and a server, alright? I know it's gonna sound crazy, but servers don't have eyes. And servers don't have hands, I know. So how is a server supposed to click a button? And that's how you know which script to use. And there's multiple implications with both of them, and sorry for just sounding like a dork here. I'm just going to make this very, very easy to understand. Right now, this is going to be treated like this is a client, aka local, whatever. And that's what this is representing whenever we say current client. So, I'm going to create a part right here, and we can step on it, we can not step on it, but the problem is, not really even a problem, this is intentional, the part doesn't exist for anybody but me. So you see, I can still stand on it, however, I'm still going to be floating to somebody else. Another big thing to recognize is the fact that you can only really change information about yourself. Look at this right here, alright? Wait a second. I'm gonna get rid of both my left leg and my right leg. Boom. As you can see, they're both gone. However, when it's dealing with the server, my legs are still here. Because once again, local, aka client, only affects you. Now, we're going to go to the server, which affects everybody. We're going to create this part right here. Boom. Just like this. I'm just going to rotate it. I'm even going to make it red so that there's a very clear distinction between these two different parts. Boom. Boom. Just like that. We have a giant wall. Now, the client can affect anything about itself. So, let's just say that we hate red walls specifically. I hate red walls. Boom. Absolutely gone. It's still here. However, for me, it isn't. So that means I could walk past it. I could even walk back and forward with it. And it's still going to be, it's still existing for everybody else unless they did the exact same thing. Now I'm going to show you the script that I used to make the little clock thing. And like I said, it is used in a local script, meaning that it only affects me. AKA, if somebody else joined the game at a different time, it would then run the clock down the exact same way as it ran for me. So whenever they start the game is the second that their clock is going to start ticking. If you wanted to make this universal, you would make it go on this one right here. Boom. And you would pretty much do the exact same thing, except you would have to make sure that you would do something like a 4 IV in pairs or whatever. Yada 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 yada. I forgot what I was saying. I'm sorry. I went on a little bit of a tangent, but realistically, I could only create this in 4 lines. Let me just get rid of this, let me get rid of this, and let me get rid of this. Boom, we did it in 4 lines. But, because we are well and responsible people, we chop it up. So here's the very first lesson in scripting that you're ever going to get, or maybe that is actually going to be important to you. Organize your code. You can just tell that like whoever does something like this is a new person. So what do? We create a dictionary of words that will lead to another. Let me just pull out the Paint 3D real quick. Okay, how it works is that we have this object in the game. Let me just create this like blueberry or something like that. The script doesn't really know what this is, so you have to somehow tell the script how to get to it. And truth be told, this blueberry is actually buried deep inside of wherever you need to go. So the script knows how to get there, but you need to tell the script what it is. And how you do that is with a local. Wait a second, let me just go into here. And let's just say local blueberry. Boom, just like that. And now you're going to have to say equals. That's just the rule of the game. Because you're saying blueberry is the same thing as this. Whatever you're going to write here. And you don't even need to name it blueberry. So you can name it BBC, you can name it to BBW, or even Big Fat Honkers. You can name it to whatever you want. So I'm just going to call my thing blueberry as we mentioned before. First, you got to go to game, then you got to do dot. So here's the first thing. So the dot is almost like a symbolism of like a family tree, if anything. And that's exactly why this would be. So let me just draw something real quick. Alright, so this is game right here. Game can go into multiple different things. The very first things that you see that I haven't really expanded is everything that it can go into. It can go into workspace, so you could do dot workspace. Let me just type this right here. No, not type. I know, I have the most amazing handwriting ever. It can go to absolutely anything. So server script service. Oh, I don't even want to write that. Never mind. Let's do something easy. Teams. Finally, what's another easy one? I guess we can go into players. And let's just say that you want to go into something like starter GUI, you would then have to do dot local script dot screen GUI, but you wouldn't be able to do dot clock because that's inside of screen GUI. So one of the ones that we wrote inside of here is workspace. So what's inside of workspace? We would have to do dot something like baseplate. And then once you expand this, you would have to do dot texture. And that's how you get into things. Like you have to go into, oh, here is, you have to go here and say this one is part. Wait, boom, there we go. And let's just say that there's something inside there called the decal. Then if you want to get to that specific decal, you would have to go through all these steps. So using this system, we can tell where we need to go, except it's a little bit misleading since how it works is all these folders right here get put into the player as soon as they join. So you'll notice a whole bunch of things inside of my character, inside of players right here, such as player GUI, so it's the exact same thing as starter GUI, and player scripts. It's the exact same thing as starter player scripts right here, because I do have something inside of here. And starter gear, I'm pretty sure is the exact same thing as starter pack. All these three files right here are put inside of your character and are renamed. So what we specifically need to get to right now is inside of here, player GUI, clock, and the seconds thing right here. We're just going to keep on saying that it's blueberry because that's the analogy that I gave earlier. So we're going to go inside of myself one more time. We're going to go see all the steps that it takes. And I actually wrote it down right here. But here's how I'm going to explain it. We have to go to game, which is, like I said, the overarching thing that has all of these things as children. Then we have to go into players, so game.players. And then we have to go into the specific player. And how you do that is say .localPlayer. And I'm just going to let this thing do its own explanation, game.players.localPlayer. And it says the player that the local script is running for. Make that make sense in your mind. If it doesn't, that's completely fine. You just need to know what it does. Boom, whatever. Next, you need to go into player GUI. So this thing right here, then you have to go into screen GUI, which is this thing right here. Clock, boom, seconds, boom, and then you go into its rotation, and then what plus equals means is that it's going to keep the same value that it had, but it's going to add on 6 to it. And the reason why we add 6 onto it is because we imagine this to be a circle, and a circle has 360 degrees of rotation. So we just do 360, literally what a circle is, divided by 60 seconds, boom, 6. And it does work! But the problem is that this isn't a circle, so, and I don't really know how to make a circle, because I'm not the best GUI artist. I just know how to make things work. So, like I said, we need to chop it up. Keep things organized. And here's how you do it, and here's the fun part. You say local player equals game dot players dot local player. Boom, and then you say local GUI equals player. See? This is awesome. Because now you could use this in your script. So saying that GUI equals player means it's the same thing as this. But now you can say local player dot player GUI. And now we need to go to screen GUI. So what we're just going to do is local screen GUI equals GUI dot screen GUI, and then a local clock equals screen GUI dot clock, and then a local seconds equals clock dot seconds. Absolutely awesome. And then now all you have to do is just say seconds dot rotation plus equals 6. And here's the greatest way to see it. It's literally just a continuation of itself. So it's just game.players.localplayer.playerGUI.screenGUI.clock.seconds. Let me just open this back up so you guys see exactly what I'm talking about. By the way, plugins will save your life. One of the biggest ones that I can recommend is Autoscale Lite. This makes your life so much easier. Want to know why? Let me show you why. Go into device. You see how this is now not where it should be? Alright. Autoscale UI. I'm not even sponsored by them. This is just awesome. It automatically scales it when you press this button right here for size. So, when you go back into test, boom! Look at that! Oh my goodness. It is the same size that it would be on your computer as it would be on your phone. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by it. It's just awesome. Alright, now that you know what things do, and now that you know how to make things easier to yourself, let's apply this to something. We're not going to get into anything complicated like sending messages to the server from a local script yet, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a button, and since we made it so much easier for ourselves, this is not even going to be a hassle. Alright, we're just making a little button right here, boom, we're going to make it so that whenever we press this button, let's just say like a random number comes out. Alright, so now what you have to do is you have to go inside a screen GUI since it's inside a screen GUI, and you're going to have to say .text button. And like I said, we should make it easier for ourselves, so it's going to add a local button right into here equals screen GUI .text button. Boom. So I'm actually going to get rid of this, and if you want to keep something like this, here's what you're going to do, but it's just going to like become like a little bit of a hassle to have in the future. So that's just if you want to keep this thing. So like I said, it's only if you want to keep this while having our other scripts go along with this. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and let's do this. Here's how you make a button clickable. Button.mouse button one click. Connect, add inside of these little brackets, function, add its own little brackets right here. You're going to have to want to get rid of this one, and then you're going to want to type out end and then add an end bracket. And here's a good way of seeing it. Boom. Look at that. So then this little squiggly line runs until all the way to this one right here. So whatever happens inside of this little line to this parentheses is going to run whenever you click the button. It's just kind of good practice to keep it here. It doesn't really matter if you do. It'll run the exact same if you keep it down there. And then all we're going to do is print math.random, and we're going to give it like, like a 1 to 10 kind of thing. So 1, comma, 10. Boom! I know, that's crazy. So now the clock's not going to run anymore because we got rid of that. But whenever we click this button right here, we're going to get a random number from 1 to 10. So this is kind of good if you want to make some kind of like gambling simulator or something like that. I don't know. Alright, whatever. I'm going to get rid of this clock, and I'm going to get rid of everything that has to do with this clock. Boom, boom, because it no longer exists. And I'm going to give you guys a little tip before it happens. It really does do this, but you're going to have to add into your little screen GUI part, wait for child, quotation marks, screen GUI. Alright, so now that you know what a local script does and what it can do, we're going to now show you a server script and what it can do. So, let's do this. Once again, a server script, aka just like a normal script, will change things for everybody. So let's just say that you want to make this thing red, alright? And one of the easiest ways to learn how to script is to just change up other people's code and seeing what works. Or to just go small and just change specific things about something specific. What I mean by that is, let's just say that you want to change the, like I said, we're going to change this thing to red. So we have multiple different options right here. We have color, we have, I guess, brick color. Both of them can change the color, as you can see here. This would also change it if you really wanted to. This is just more of like a preset. Alright, so inside of the script, remember what we did here earlier. And remember, we are inside a workspace right now. Whatever is actually physically inside the game has to go in workspace. If you're going to be dealing with a GUI, it not only has to go inside a starter GUI, but it would then need to be going inside of a screen GUI. So if I wanted to create a frame, I would have to do that inside a screen GUI, inside a starter GUI. Otherwise, if it's not inside that screen GUI, it's not going to work. Alright, so since we know that this is something physical inside the game, we're going to say game, remember, ultimate parent, workspace. So, dot workspace. Boom. Ironically, this is the one where you actually don't need to do game.workspace. You can just simply just do workspace like this. But for good practice, we're just going to do it the way that God intended. And what's the specific thing that we're looking for again? Wait a second. Select, boom, spawn location. So it's inside a workspace. We would do dot spawn location. Boom! And here's another cool thing about to teach you. Whatever's inside of properties of like this specific thing, so we can just go inside a spawn location, we can change absolutely anything about this that I'm pretty sure is not grayed out. So we see transparency, boom, we can do dot transparency. I know you have to use a dot again if you want to go into something like a property. And how you see properties, like if you don't have it on right now, you just gotta click this little button right here. And here's how I got it set up. I just go scroll like this, I put it to my side, like down there, just like that. My properties are right there chilling. Alright, whatever. The one that I like using a bunch, and this one's a little bit confusing, is dot color. And this one's pretty weird, I know, but you have to do equals color3 dot new, or what I prefer doing it from is from RGB. Sorry, dot from RGB, and we could just give it some random color. We're gonna give this like a 55. We're gonna say that this is 10. We're gonna say that this is 100. Boom, just like that. we have our color. I know that's crazy. What you can also do is go inside of here. You can click this little thing right there and choose your own color. Let's just say that we want it like a nice neon green. Hell yeah. Awesome. All right. So, we're going to teach you one last thing and then we're going to shove you the hell out of here. A really cool thing that you can do is you can do something as soon as a player joins. And I'm pretty sure you can do this with absolutely any other place, like let's just say game.workspace dot something added. Yeah, child added, or game dot lighting dot something added, another child added, or whatever. But when you do game dot players dot added, you can do player added, child added, descent added. I'm pretty sure any single one of these works out the exact same way. So we just do connect function, boom, boom, just like that. We are certifiably chilling. And one of the main differences that you have to do here is inside of function, you have to put player, because that's going to be the grab the thing. It's going to grab the child that was added. Now you're asking, what is a child? All right, the only way that I can explain this is through this little diagram right here. Game is the ultimate parent. So then all these little things below it would be its children. Players is its children, teams is its children, workspace is its children. Now, part is not game's child. Part is workspace's child. And decal is not workspace's child, but it's part's child. If that sounds confusing, I don't really blame you. I was kind of confused with it for a little bit. I didn't really know how to do things or whatever. Anyways, you could do pretty much anything about this thing. You could just do print and then player, just like this. Boom. And when you play the game, it's going to print out the child that was added. I genuinely do not know the difference between player added and child added. Maybe player added grabs it sooner than child added. Anyways, I do suggest that you do player added since that works really well. But if you wanted to be quirky, you could do child added. Alright, and one last thing is to genuinely, listen, but don't listen to people who are creating tutorial videos. They explain it like you already know it. And they do a whole bunch of needless things that you don't really need to do. So, like, one of the biggest things that I've noticed them do is, like, local function, player joining or something like that. And they would do something like this. And they would just grab the player. Boom, boom, boom. This right here is so stupid. Because it's going to do the exact same thing as what this is doing. Let me show you. Alright. So all it does is ends up creating more lines of dialogue for the exact same thing. Nothing changed. The only thing that changed is the fact that it made it more confusing. Like, what's a local function? You don't know. So, the best way to explain it and the best way to experiment with things is to do something like this. Alright, boom. To do it my way. Function, we add our little parentheses right there. Boom. Whatever happens from here, right here, to here is what's going to happen whenever you join the game. You don't need to know anything else. You don't need to create anything else. And the exact same thing happens when you do game.players.player removing. Oh, I wonder what happens there. Sorry, I forgot to mention that you have to write player down here because that will grab who the player is. Wait a second. Connect function, the exact same thing. Grab the player right here. And once again, if you really wanted to, you could just do it to whatever you want. You just be like, small Asian tits. Boom. And it will mean the exact same thing. So we just print small Asian tits. There we go. If you wanted to say is leaving. Boom. There you go. You would do the exact same thing for here. Player sorry, not do quotation marks, has joined. Boom. Oh, I forgot. You'd have to do something like player dot name. My bad. I just ran into an error. I forgot that that works that way. See, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, coding is genuinely hard, but it's also fun to problem solve. See, BadKit1234 has joined, and once you leave, it's going to say BadKit1234 is leaving. Anyways, this has been Noober Schnoober. I hope that it's been a good time for you. I really do hope that you've learned something. And anyways, I will see you later.